Good morning, students. I'm back with another video, and this time we are going to discuss the second part of Geography, Chapter 1, Resources and Development. In the previous class, we learned about the classification of resources. The subtopics that we cover in today's class are resource planning, conservation of resources, land resources, land use pattern in India, land degradation and conservation measures. You can open your geography text, page 4. We will start with the first subtopic of today's class, that is resource planning. First, let's analyze the meaning of the term resource planning. In very simple terms, resource planning means the judicious use of resources is known as resource planning. The resources are distributed in our country in an uneven manner. Few people will get a plenty of something and few people will get less. There are regions which are rich in certain types of resources but are deficit in some other resources. We can analyze the statement with three examples. For example, Arunachal Pradesh has abundance of water resource but lacks in infrastructural development. Another example from the state of Rajasthan. Rajasthan is very well endowed with solar and wind energy but lacks in water resources. Another the example is the cold desert of Ladakh. Ladakh is relatively isolated from the rest of the country. Ladakh has very rich cultural heritage, but it is deficient in water, infrastructure, and some vital minerals. This calls for balanced resource planning at the national, state, regional, and local levels. The next heading is explaining about resource planning in India. So, resource planning includes three steps. First is the identifying the resources across the country. What do you mean by the term identifying the resources? This means to identify which state is having which resource in abundant and which resource is scarce. And here comes a question, how to identify the resource? This involves surveying, mapping, and qualitative and quantitative estimation and measurement of resources by the geologist. For example, the geologist will analyze what quantity of coal left out in our country or what grade of coal do we have. These all determine the cost of that mineral in the international market. And we have proper technology, skill, and institutional setup for implementing resource development plans. By implementing resource development plans, we avoid wastage of resources and environmental pollution can be reduced. Next heading is conservation of resources. So first let's analyze what do you mean by the term conservation of resources, and then we will check into few examples of conservation of resources. Our overutilization of resources may lead to socio-economic and environmental problems. To overcome these problems, just like how resource planning is important, same way resource conservation also important. So conservation of resources means the protection and rational use of resources so that it won't be get exhausted for the future generation. So I will repeat once more the definition for conservation of resources. Conservation of resources means the protection and the rational use of natural resources. Next, let's move on to the examples or else the measures to conserve resources. How can we conserve resources? Few examples. Here it is mentioned as what few examples which is specified in the slide: afforestation, then protect wildlife, rainwater harvesting, Then use of minerals in a planned and sustainable manner, mixed cropping, recycling of waste, use of alternative renewable substitutes like wind and solar energy, avoid using fossil fuels or non renewable sources of energy. All these are the examples how can we conserve our resources. So now I will highlight you a quote which is said by Mahatma Gandhi, which is specified in your textbook. Gandhiji voiced against the irrational consumption and overutilization of resources. According to Mahatma Gandhi, there is enough for everybody's need and not for anybody's greed. Mahatma Gandhi placed the greedy and selfish individuals and exploitative nature of modern technology as the root cause for the resource depletion at the global level. Now let's move on to the next heading, that is land as a resource. So let's analyze how can we explain the term land as resource. So we all know that land is one of the most important natural resource because it supports natural vegetation, wildlife, human life, economic activities like transport, communication system, and so on. So, we also need a careful planning in terms of using land resources. Next, you can analyze a pie diagram. Here you can see a pie diagram. So, India has a number of relief features. We learned in the previous classes, that is mountain, plateaus, plain, islands, many relief features we have. And all these relief features plays an important role in some way or the another way. So, for example, from the pie diagram, we can understand that mountains account for 30% of the total surface area of the country. It is because of the mountains we have some perennial rivers that flows continuously throughout the year. And plain area, if you analyze, we can see 43% of the land area is plain. So, what is the speciality of the plain area? The plain areas, the soil in the plain area will be rich and fertile. So, such type of soil is apt for agriculture, and even we can construct factories or industries in such type of areas. And the remaining 27% of the country is the plateau region, and the plateau region are rich in resources like minerals, fossil fuels, and forest. And islands, we have, because of the islands we have huge coral deposits, and that attracts a lot of water species and fisheries. So from all these points we understood how much land is important and what all we get from land. Next topic is land utilization. Land is a resource, but it is not infinite. So we must use it judiciously. Land utilization is very important. Land is utilized in the form of forest, uncultivated land, land not available for cultivation, and fallow land. Land not available for cultivation is divided into two: barren and wasteland, and land put to non-agricultural purposes. So first let's analyze forest. In India, according to the law, 33% of the land should be given to forest area because that will maintain the ecological balance. The next is the uncultivated land. So uncultivated land means, as the name says, the land which is not used for cultivation is known as uncultivated land. Next is land not available for cultivation. Here we will be learning barren and wasteland and land put to non-agricultural uses. Barren land is the one which does not have the potential to support plants' growth, and the wasteland are those in which plants can grow and they are not utilized yet, or they are not being utilized up to their full potential. That is known as wasteland. Next is land put to non-agricultural uses. So land put to non-agricultural uses means the land which we are utilizing for non-agricultural purposes, like utilizing the land for infrastructure, urbanization, then for constructing roads, bridges, buildings, monuments, and so on. Then we have the fallow land. Fallow land you can learn from this slide. So fallow land. Fallow land are those land which are meant for agricultural purpose, but due to certain reasons, agriculture has not been performed for several years and the land is completely empty. Fallow land is the one in which we leave land deliberately without any crop for a certain time duration so that it can regain its nutrients, it can also regain its organic material, and it can regain its fertility. And fallow lands is again divided into two: current fallow and other than current fallow land. First, let's analyze what is the meaning of current fallow. Current fallow means it is the land which is left without any cultivation for an year or less. It is known as current fallow. The next is other than current fallow. Here, other than current fallow means the land which does not, we have not utilized this land for cultivation for more than 1 year or till 5 years and so on. That is known as other than current fallow. I will repeat the definition for current fallow and other than current fallow once more. Current fallow is the land which is left without any cultivation for an year or less. That is known as current fallow. Other than current fallow, the land is the one which does not have cultivation for more than 1 year till 5 years and so on. That is known as other than current fallow land. The next heading is net sown area. Let's analyze what is the meaning of net sown area. It is the total areas where the crops are sowed, which means the land is functional or the land in functional or agricultural purpose. That is known as net sown area. So net sown area is the total area sown with crops in a country. That is known as net sown area. For example, the net zone area that varies from one state to another. It is over 80% of the total area in Punjab and Haryana. It means the net zone area in Punjab, that is over 80% of the total land area. But when we compare to some other states like Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Manipur, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and so on, in these countries, the net zone area is less than 10%. That is what I said. The NSA or else the net zone area that varies from one state to another state. Now let's move on to the next topic, that is the land use pattern in India. So land use pattern in India we can learn with the help of a pie diagram. So let's have a quick glance of this land use pattern in India using this pie diagram. From this diagram we can understand that 46% it is net sown area, because as India is an agro-based economy, so the net zone area in India is 46%. So it means comparing to all the other criteria, the major percentage of India's land is net zone area. And the forest cover the 23%, 9% is the land put to non-agricultural uses, 6% is barren, 3% is permanent pastures or other grazing lands, 1% is the miscellaneous, 4% is the cultivable wasteland, and 8% is fallow land. Next heading is land degradation. If we use and exploit the land in so many ways, then it will be surely degraded. Land degradation is any change in characteristics of land which reduce its quality or decreases its fertility is called land degradation. Human activities have brought degradation of land. Some of the degradation is direct and some are indirect. Now let's analyze the causes of land degradation. First is deforestation. Cutting the trees in the forest is a direct cause of degradation because it can cause landslides and other natural calamities. Similarly, dumping industrial waste on flat land or a river damages the soil and hence it affects in the quality of agriculture produced on that land. Apart from these, overgrazing, mining, quarrying, and urbanization also contributed to land degradation. There are some states like Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, and Odisha where land degradation is excess because of mining activities. And we have states like Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Maharashtra where overgrazing is done excessively, and other states like Punjab, Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh, here over irrigation is responsible for land degradation. And some industries like cement industries and ceramic industries, all these industries releases industrial effluents and waste that becomes the major source for degradation of land and water pollution. Now let's move on to the next heading, that is the ways to solve land degradation. There are various ways in which we can prevent our land from getting degraded. They are like afforestation, strip farming, crop rotation, ridge and furrow formation, construction of dams. Crop rotation is the technique in which we grow alternate crops on the soil so that it does not get deficient in one particular nutrient. Afforestation is planting more and more trees and supporting forest. Construction of dams to check the water flow. Next is strip farming. Strip farming, here you can see the explanation of what is strip farming as well as a picture of strip farming. As you can see in the picture, the greener area is the cultivated land and the brown one is the uncultivated land. So strip farming has alternate steps of cultivated and uncultivated land. And this type of farming reduces soil erosion from both water and wind resources. Next is ridge and furrow formation. So here also you can see the picture. As you can see in the picture, the elevated part is the ridge and the deep part is the furrow. This type of formation of ridge and furrow prevent soil erosion in the land due to water runs during irrigation. You can find few more different ways to solve land degradation. Now let's have a quick recap of today's class. Today we started learning from resource planning. In India, there are some regions which can be considered self-sufficient in terms of the availability of resources. And there are some regions which have acute shortage of some vital resources. This calls for balanced resource planning at the national, state, regional and the local levels. Land is a natural resource of utmost importance. It supports natural vegetation, wildlife, human life, economic activities, transportation and communication systems. I would like to conclude today's class with the quote by Mahatma Gandhi. There is enough for everybody's need and not for anybody's grade. So we concluded today's class. If you have any doubt related to today's class, you can email to dmcsonlinequeries@gmail.com. Thank you, students. Have a good day ahead.